So I was loading up some equipment for work, and I just felt that, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good." So to go to like the front desk, I was like, "Hey, is there a bathroom anywhere I could use?" They're like, "Oh yeah, it's on the 6th floor." So I had to wait for this really slow elevator to get up to the 6th floor where the public bathrooms were, and it was just running, and then like I had to wash my hands because like they were like really like gross and disgusting from work, and I wasn't gonna like touch my wiener or my butt with really gross hands. So that was even more time. And then you ever have that feeling where like you undo your belt and you just feel it like all of a sudden it's much more urgent than it was like just 2 seconds ago. I had that, so I was like, and I got down right as one. Anyway, so hello to all of our new listeners.
It just goes downhill from here. You can tune off now.
It goes downhill from here?
Yeah, that was the pinnacle. What do you want?
Well, just wait till you hear about what Mexican food does to my butthole.
Oh my god. What a transition.
You think Lenny's shit stories are the apex of this show?
I think they're the apex of media.
I have no words. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from across the country and around the world. This is the Life Midwest Podcast. Welcome to episode 99, everybody. Hey, join a washed-up musician, a communications major, and an Army veteran, all originally from the Midwest, as we talk about life's endeavors and events and shit stories from Lenny that are both current and events. Nothing is more current than the plugged current of the last toilet that Lenny Wells used. Speaking of Lenny Wells, we have our Seattle's best, but I don't mean the coffee, Lenny Wells.
Kevin, why are you growing a beard?
I'm going to get back to that in a second, because it's kind of embarrassing. But we also have our Thai correspondent, Wes Shirley, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, so before we get into today's show, the reason why I have the reason I have a beard. Hi everybody, I'm Adam Sandwood this week. No, so I decided that I was going to stop shaving for as long as the Bruins were in the playoffs.
You're going to so you're going to go with a playoff beard?
I was going to go with a playoff beard. Because I thought we were actually gonna, because I thought we were actually gonna fucking go somewhere this year after having a record-breaking year. So, I just didn't get around to shaving before we recorded today. So it'll be gone next week, folks. Don't worry. Officially a Seattle Kraken fan.
Hey, let's go! Let's fucking go! That's Kraken Haken, baby!
Seattle Kraken knocked off the reigning Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche last night in a Game 7 decisive 2-1 victory, while the Bruins had their season collapse in Game 7 in overtime. After giving up the game-tying goal with 59.3 seconds left in the third period, they then proceeded to score the game-winning overtime goal moments into overtime. So, just a really frustrating weekend in sports if your name is Kevin fucking Palmer. So, anyways.
I thought your middle name was Alexander.
Depends on who you're asking. I think that, what's going to be great about this coming weekend, and will help me forget about this weekend, is the drinking that I'll be doing during Cinco de Mayo. I don't know whether we should leave that in or not.
It's Mexican hat dance, of course.
Papa sombrero.
Yeah. So this will obviously be airing the day after Cinco de Mayo, but it sparked an interesting conversation for us, and I think for me it was why is this such a big fucking deal in America? It's a very big drinking holiday, and I feel like only behind St. Patrick's Day, and maybe even more. I don't know. You know, we did something interesting this week. I'll be fully transparent. We asked Chat GPT questions. Courtesy of Wes, and it gave us some answers. So the initial question is, can you tell me why Americans celebrate Cinco de Mayo? And so the answer is, of course, for those who live under a fucking rock, as I always say, Cinco de Mayo is a holiday celebrated on May 5th, which commemorates the Mexican army's victory over the French Empire. Yeah, fuck you, Lenny. At the Battle of Puebla, May 5th, 1862. The battle was a significant event in Mexican history as the underdog Mexican forces, led by General Ignacio Zaragoza, defeated a larger and better equipped French army. I think a lot of people think that Cinco de Mayo is like Mexican Independence Day. I think that's a common misconception, right?
Yeah, that's like in September or something. It is a battle. They did win a battle. I think they liberated like a small town or something.
Yeah, it's in a month that's not May though. To your point, Wes. So, while Cinco de Mayo is a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, believe it or not, it has grown in popularity in the United States, especially among Mexican-American communities or white people who culturally appropriate. Just kidding. ChatGPT didn't say that. The popularity can be attributed to a few factors: cultural pride and heritage, marketing and commercialization, and general interest in multiculturalism. I think the last one's probably pretty fair to say. I think there's general interest in like celebrating other people's cultures and like America being a stirring pot, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's too far off the mark. I think the rise of Mexican Americans as being like one of the more prominent minorities in the U.S. also has a lot to do with it.
So Cinco de Mayo itself got us thinking and talking about different, different holidays that whether we, may or may not be familiar with outside of the U.S. And, with that in mind, I think it's important to kind of, do a quick tour around the world. I mean, obviously, and when I say this, I mean, like, think of like Oktoberfest in Germany, or which we obviously have like our own like very minor league version of here, but I'm struggling to think of other examples, but like the cherry blossom festivals in Japan, or White Day in Japan. Wes was actually mentioning in our chat that there is a similar, not similar in the aspect of what's celebrated, but similarly a holiday that we may not recognize here in the U.S. That actually occurs in Thailand. So for that, I'm going to turn it over to our Thai correspondent, Wes Shirley, for more. Wes?
Hi. On today's episode of Learning West with Thai, we're not learning the Thai language, we're learning Thai culture today. From someone who knows nothing about it, so take that with a grain of salt.
Oh, come on, you know more than we do.
Yeah.
Fair, but like compared to someone like who actually knows the culture, I'm still a pleb. So there's a holiday called Songkran, and it just happened like almost a month ago. It was like early April, and I really wish they had this in the U.S. This is the coolest holiday in the entire world, hands down. The entire country drives around, walks around with like squirt guns, water bottles, water balloons, water hoses, big buckets of water, and it's just a nationwide water fight. I don't actually know what the meaning of the holiday is, but it's super fun. We went out in the back of a truck with big old buckets of water and squirt guns, and we just threw water at everyone, and everyone's laughing and smiling and having fun. People are wearing like ponchos if they're working, because there's a lot of people on motorbikes who don't want to get wet. People have their phones in like clear plastic cases so they don't get wet, and everyone just expects if I go outside I'm going to get splashed. And when I was younger, I was in the Boy Scouts in the US, and we had a summer water fight that lasted like a couple days, and it was just this huge event. And this reminds me so much of that, but that was like a localized event, and I would like to see the entire country take that and start doing it. I'm not sure how viable it is in the US. I feel like someone will just get shot, like, you sprayed me. But like here, everyone's just super cool, super chill about it. And it was one of the most fun days I've ever had, because like I didn't expect that. I was asked if I wanted to go out for Songkran. I'm like, I don't want to get wet, and it just turned out amazing. So look up Songkran.
When was this again?
Early April. I'm so unprepared. It was like the first or second weekend of April. Maybe the second
Um,
weekend.
Are this is just gonna show my ignorance, but is Thailand in the southern hemisphere?
Nope. It is in the only thing that's in the southern hemisphere is like the tip of South Africa, I think. Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, and like Chile. Like nothing else that has people in it's in the southern hemisphere.
Well, the only reason I ask is because you know, around that time is springtime, so maybe it has to do like it's like a spring festival of like whether it be like watering crops or you know
It is like the
I don't want to
peak
say
of summer here, though. Like it's very hot. Like right now, it's like 100 degrees plus. They
oh
only have
really.
3 seasons though. It's summer, the rainy season, and then the cool season. It's not cool.
I don't know. Just a thought. Um, just showing my ignorance.
Speaking of ignorance, it's my turn. Lenny, you did a few tours in the Middle East. Any holidays we should know about over there?
No. The only the only one I'm familiar with is Ramadan, which just wrapped up last week, I think. And the only reason I'm familiar with it is because since most of the native population was fasting, they had a lot more time on their hands to throw bombs at us, I'm assuming. Because that's what happened. Like every day of Ramadan, we just got bombed way more than we normally did throughout the rest of the year. So maybe a little ignorant. You don't have to cut this. It was just the experience I had.
I was gonna make a really off-color joke about the pastime of avoiding American bombers.
Look, all I know is that during the day, I think Ramadan's like a week long or maybe it's a month long. I don't remember.
I think it's 10 or 15 days. Here, I'll look.
Anyways, the the point is that the entire time that the holiday was happening, we just got the shit bombed out of the base I was on. So it's really my only true experience with anything related to Ramadan. So I hope that's the answer you were looking for.
So Ramadan is, let's see here, according to Lifestyle magazine, this is a fast that includes abstaining from eating or drinking anything, including water, which I have a funny story about, and sexual intimacy until sunset. So no morning sex, folks. The water thing was funny because so working at Apple, there's a lot of, which may or may not surprise you. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But there's a lot of Middle Easterners who work at the Toledo Apple Store, or at least did when I first started there. And so I got to learn a lot about their culture and a lot about like holidays, that they celebrate and things like that. And so I kind of ignorantly asked, like during Ramadan, I was kind of like, "Can you drink water at least?" And the dude that I asked just fucking busts out laughing. He was like, "No." I was like, "What's so funny about it?" He's like, "Because everyone fucking says that. Everyone's like, not even water? No, bro, not even water." And he just fucking walks away. So, yeah, not even water, folks. It's hard. It's hard. You got to be committed to that. You know what I mean? So it's kudos to them and those that celebrate Ramadan, because I mean I mean there's obviously a lot more to like the religion than just Ramadan, but it's a very, very, very holy time for, think of Easter, right? I know we talk about like, painting eggs and all that shit, and Easter bunnies and all this other bullshit. But if you think about it, like Christians believe that is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Like there's nothing like that is celebrated more. Like that is a bigger deal than his birth. Is his resurrection. So, and as a Catholic, I can fucking say that. So shut your mouths with your opinions down there.
Catholic, my balls.
All I was gonna say is that I feel like Lent is closer to Ramadan as far as like what's being or the method in which something's celebrated.
It is, but but Lent is the 30 days leading up to Easter.
Yeah.
Like you sacrifice, you give something up until Easter. So the Catholics are just a bunch of pussies, and they can only give up one thing, whereas in Ramadan you give up everything essentially during the day. So
Yeah, it's like Coke versus Coke Zero. They're similar.
Catholics are those mid-50s white broads who think that they can eat anything they want because they drink Diet Coke. And again, I'm Catholic. I can say all this. So don't.
Are you also a white broad?
Okay, you got me there. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Coming back on the other side of the break, I want to talk more about other holidays around the world that you may or may not be familiar with. Stick around. Welcome back to the Life Midwest podcast. On the other side of the break, it's your hosts, Kevin Palmer, Lenny Wells, and Wes Shirley. Hey, if you're looking for ways to support us, it does cost money to run the show. If you'd like to help out with that, it's paypal.me/thelifemidwest. You can also check out our website at thelifemidwest.com. Check out our major social media platforms that Lenny runs at The Life Midwest. You can interact with him, which is why if you get blocked or not replied to, that's Lenny's fault and no one else's. I didn't have anything else better to say than that. Sorry. Normally I'm funnier off the cuff than that. We also have a email channel that you can. An email channel? What the fuck is an email channel? You can reach us. You can reach out to us via email at support@thelifemidwest.com.
And Kevin runs that one, so if he doesn't, if you don't get replied to it, that's his fault.
Thanks for the zing there, jackass. Appreciate it. Hey, we're gonna keep talking about holidays not celebrated in America. One that Wes brought it up over the break that we might want to circle back to it. There's a holiday in Japan called White Day, and I'm not circling back to it out of fear that somebody went and got offended. But Wes, what is White Day?
So White Day is what Valentine's Day in the US is, right? In Valentine's Day, you take your sweetheart and you're like, hey girl, I got some chocolate for you. And then like you take her out to dinner and, whatever happens type deal, that's Valentine's Day. But in Japan, that's White Day. Valentine's Day is for dudes. The girl gets the guy chocolate, which is like crazy to me.
Wait, so in Japan, White Day is what stereotypically happens for
women on Valentine's Day, and then
Valentine's Day is women doing it for men,
right? They get like kids in school get like the guy they like chocolate or the boy they like chocolate if they're a girl, and then on White Day the boys will get the girl they like chocolate, or maybe just your friend's chocolate. They might make their own homemade, or they might buy some at the store, but they like pass out chocolate, and it's treated like Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is of course the 14th of February in both countries. White Day is just a month later, the 14th of March. And
what is was White Day, is that like in response to like Valentine's Day, or is it like, was it like already a holiday that just kind of like morphed into that?
Maybe future editing Wes will be able to edit in some type of blurb that tells you that. However, current Wes has no idea.
I was wondering when Lenny was going to ask too many questions and hit that threshold. So I have a question here too. So in America we have Sweetest Day in October, and I feel like that is supposed to be like the Western Hemisphere version of guys getting chocolates and a small gift or whatnot. Is there a Sweetest Day in Japan then, with all of this given?
I don't know. Fuck if I know.
I'm gonna be completely honest, I forgot that Sweetest Day exists.
Yeah, Sweetest Day is not a holiday as far as I know.
It's like the second or third Saturday in October.
I think it was created like when we were children or like young or teenagers. Like it's only in the US and it was created within like the last 15 years.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if that's entirely true, but I completely forgot that it existed until you just brought it up.
All right, let's look it up here real quick. Sweetest Day is a day to share romantic deeds or expressions and acts of charity and kindness. Sweetest Day has also been referred to as a Hallmark holiday. Concocted promotion created by the candy industry solely to increase sales of sweets, with Halloween 2 fucking weeks later.
So here's an interesting little blurb. According to Wikipedia, it's like a mostly Midwestern holiday.
Really?
Yeah, so according to Wikipedia, Sweetest Day is a holiday that is celebrated in the Midwestern United States, in parts of Northeastern United States, and then it specifically mentions Arizona and Florida. But it was founded by somebody from Hallmark, but it's observed primarily in the Great Lakes region.
I love when we stumble upon content that's relevant to us.
That's the life Midwest.
Hey, before we go to the shoutouts, I do want to ramble off a couple of different holidays, like I said before the break, that don't necessarily, get mentioned too much, that we might not even be familiar with. And I'll provide a link to Wes here so that he can put this in the podcast description if you're interested in learning or reading more about them. It's a Stacker article here, 25 holidays not celebrated in America. You might be familiar with Boxing Day for United Kingdom and countries formerly part of the British Empire, so also Canada. You have Yulan, which is actually the Chinese Halloween. That's pretty cool. It translates to the Hungry Ghost Festival. Lasts for an entire month, usually around August or September, and the festival marks the birthday of the Taoist god who passes judgment on living people's actions.
Taoist.
We're getting screwed. All right, we need to start celebrating that. One day is just not enough.
Right. There's I'm not good with Korean words. Chuseok. Chuseok, known as Korean Thanksgiving, features a solemn remembrance of ancestors, but also boisterous wrestling competitions and cheerful singing and dancing.
Okay.
Yep. In Peru, we have Inti Raymi. This June festival of the sun goes all the way back to the time of the Inca in Peru. Animal lovers may want to skip the sacrifice of the llama and head straight for the ceremony reenacting the way that the Inca would forecast their fate for the year by reading a cocoa leaf. Let's see. We have something in the Faroe Islands, which is a love saka.
We should go celebrate that there.
The Faroe Islands might seem a little isolated halfway between Iceland and Norway, but that doesn't stop them from throwing a party. Commemorates the death of King Olaf nearly 1,000 years ago and includes a Faroese chain dancing group singing at midnight in the Faroe Islands capital that I don't know how to pronounce, and a popular boat race. In Ethiopia, we have Enkutasach, celebrated on either September 11th or 12th. It's an Ethiopian New Year celebration marked by the yellow daisies that cover the country following its rainy season. That sounds innocent enough. Ireland, Puck Fair, which I've heard of before. Apparently, it says here, it's not every day that a wild goat becomes royalty. No, it's not a nature-based version of the Prince and the Pauper. It's the Puck Fair in Killorglin. Local lore pins the fair's origins on a goat who freaked out during the approach of Oliver Cromwell's army, inadvertently warned the town's residents in time to defend themselves. In this animal's honor, each August, Kilorglin residents capture a wild goat and install him on a pedestal for 3 days.
Oh my god. Congratulations, Go. You stand here for 3 days. Thank you for your service.
Heck yeah.
Finally wrapping up here, we have the Carpet of Flowers in Belgium, the Festival de Voyager in Canada, and Holi in India. There's some more here, but I won't bore you. So, but yeah, so there are holidays around the world that we don't celebrate. I know it's a bit of a worldly thing that we're talking about as opposed to the Midwest, but hey, we threw in something about Sweetest Day, so there you fucking go. Any takes or any thoughts? Are there any holidays you guys are familiar with that I didn't cover that you would want to just shout out real quick before we go to shout outs?
So shout out to Lunar New Year. That's pretty big around these parts. There's a very large, specifically Korean population, but I mean, there's just like a large Asian population in the Pacific Northwest. So Lunar New Year is something I see a lot, and that's the only one I had it and I lost it. It's been a very long couple of weeks for me, so we'll just go with Lunar New Year.
Circling back to Mexico, there's Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead. They like clean the bones in the graves of their loved ones. Traditionally, a lot of people probably don't subscribe to that anymore. But they have like a parade, and it's kind of like their Halloween, but it's a more respectful for the dead version of Halloween.
It's not really. I mean, it happens about the same time as Halloween, but to say it's like a Mexican version of Halloween is a little disingenuous. It's actually, I think it's I want to say it's a Mayan holiday. That was, kind of.
I think it's a mix of Catholic too. Their version of Catholicism involves like cleaning the corpse.
Well, what I mean to say is that like it was a Mayan holiday that's been like co-opted, right? As Christianity often tends to do. No offense, but so that's where its origins come from. But yeah, it's a really big family holiday. Dia de los Muertos. Yeah, they do the cleaning of the graves. They have the ofrendas, where they present gifts to their loved ones to take back to the land of the dead. It's a really nice holiday.
I'm glad you knew more about
that. I'll throw out Golden Week in Japan. It's a string of holidays that usually occurs around the first week of May. It contains the Showa Day, Constitution Memorial Day, Greenery Day, and Children's Day. Most people have time off work, from school, other things like that throughout the time. So it's a very fun time of year in Japan specifically. A lot of my connection to it, as stupid as it may sound, is when I used to play Phantasy Star Online 2 before it came over to the Americas, and I played the Japanese version. They would always do special events for Golden Week. So like even online games and MMOs that were based out of Japan had something celebrating Golden Week, which I thought was pretty cool. So I'll throw that out there too. So, hey folks, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. It's time for shout outs. And I know Lenny's expecting me to kick it over to him, but nope. Just kidding, Lenny. Go ahead.
No, you can go, Wes. I can't believe Kevin duped you.
Wow. Like so sad. So hurt. I would like to give some shout outs to the prospect of a month-long Halloween. That sounds amazing. Totally stole that from Lenny. And we need at least a week-long holiday in the US, right? Like, all these other countries get this cool week-long holiday where, like, they get to plan vacations and fuck off away from work and school and, like, Golden Week and, like, Songkran here in Thailand. They have basically, like, most of a week and, like, why can't we just have a week holiday in the U.S.? Maybe just in the Midwest. We have our own holidays anyways, so we might as well do our own thing there.
Because we live in a capitalist hustle type culture. Continue.
I mean, 4th of July, I agree with what you just said, by the way, but like 4th of July is our closest thing. People will like plan to like take their PTO off during that time, but like we should just make our Independence Day like a week-long holiday. Or maybe Halloween, because Halloween's the best holiday next to the 4th of July. Yeah, shout out to holidays that we don't celebrate. There's some really cool ones out there. I think aside from like completely appropriating them, we should be unique in our own country and make some that are cool and last longer than a day, that sometimes fall in the middle of a week that you have to work on both ends of. Shout out to mothers. We do that here. Shout out to both of you. Thanks for recording today and having information and input where I did not.
Lenny?
So first I want to shout out my wonderful wife, Brittany, who was nice enough to actually give me a hug before we started recording.
Hugs are nice.
Hugs are the best. Shout out to you guys for creating the platform. It's always great to get together with you guys and actually like talk, like have these talks, and not just through a text string. Because this is going to be airing the day after, Feliz Cinco de Mayo, to anybody that's listening and celebrates.
You fucking show off.
There's going to be a lot of people I work with that are celebrating, so they're going to be coming into work hungover as hell the day you're able to listen to this. Let's see. Who else should I shout out? Oh yeah, shout out to the Seattle Kraken, baby! Round 1 playoffs. By the time anybody's listening to this, I think we'll be playing the Stars. So, anyways, I just had to do that one last time. And rip, it's a shout out to the Bruins, anti-shout out to the Panthers.
Well said. Fuck Florida.
Kevin.
I want to shout out my amazing fiance Ashley. Want to shout out Bruins fans everywhere. Want to shout out the Bruins on an incredible record-breaking season. And so yeah, shout out to holidays that we don't celebrate. Let's really work hard this year to get like Super Bowl week off. Like even the people who don't care about sports ball still give a shit about like Super Bowl commercials and like the halftime show. At least most of us do. So like when you wrap all those three things in, like 90% of America's involved. So let's get on board for that or something. Let's make our own Golden Week. We just won't call it Golden Week. It'll be like
Capitalist Hellhole Week.
America Week.
Yeah.
No, America Week. That's only if we could convince people that we should celebrate Independence Day for a whole week.
Yeah. Shout out to the Seattle Kraken. I do believe they play the Dallas Stars in the second round, the semifinals for the conference. I hate Tyler Seguin. He's a smug little shit, and I hope he used to play for the Bruins, and he's just this smug little shit now that he's like the face of the franchise for Dallas. Not really the face of the franchise, but he's one of the more popular players, unfortunately. That's about all I got for this week. I gotta go shave my face because the Bruins suck. But we'll talk to you guys next Saturday. Next Saturday, we're gonna be celebrating 100 episodes, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna be taking a look back at some of our favorite moments from the show, talking about where some of the things that we talk about every week originated from, and why we do them. And yeah, we have some other fun things planned that I have planned that Lenny and Wes don't know about. So that'll be fun too. Looking forward to that. So until then, call your mom. Tell someone you love them. And we will see you next Saturday and every Saturday here on the Life Midwest podcast. Take care. Have a good one.
All right. Bye. Love you, babes.